Hi, Statesman Nation. We're sitting down with Joe McKinstry, head women's basketball coach here at William Penn, as we prepare for the 2023-2024 season. Coach, your first year, but you've been wearing that navy and gold for a long time, so this is just return to home, and we've talked about that in other interviews in the past. But welcome back, and let's talk about the first. We figured about 150 or so days, or whatever it is. How's the transition been?
I think it's going well. I hope it's going well. But for me personally, it's been great. Great to be back here in these hallways and offices and the gym and whatnot, and just in the community itself. Just kind of a reminder of why I wanted to come back and be here. This place means the world to me. It's home away from home, and always has been, and afforded me with a lot of opportunities as a student athlete, and then Coach Henry giving me my first opportunity to get into the coaching world. So excited to be back here. Been working hard, trying to be locked in, and honestly 150 days, whatever the days, seems crazy that we're coming up and we got a game this week. Right. So it's really flown by. But Coach Bedford and myself been working hard trying to get these girls ready, and they've been doing a great job. So now it's time to see if it's working or not.
Right. Well, fortunately, it's a long season. But all right, let's talk about. I guess before we got to preseason, obviously you had to re-recruit a lot of these athletes, make sure that, hey, I'm new, but do you still want to be at William Penn, and this is what we're going to do, and this is why we want to keep you. In addition to bringing in new statesmen as well. So just talk about a little bit the recruiting process over the last few months going into the school year.
Yeah, really started April 17th, right, which is my first day on campus, and being able to meet with the team and whatnot, and just kind of tell them my thoughts and feelings about what we needed to expect and where the program needs to be at, and what the goals are moving forward, and hoping that they wanted to be a part of that. My honest belief coming into this was, I think there's good players here, and I think that they can do what's needed to be successful, and be a part of getting this thing started and getting things turned around and heading in the right direction. So we were fortunate that a lot of them did want to stick around and didn't want to continue on, and so we've just been working with that kind of nucleus. I was fortunate enough to have a couple weeks in the spring to be able to work with everybody and just kind of get started on some stuff and kind of start the evaluation period of what we have and where we're at. And then Coach Bedford and I worked really hard trying to get some new faces in here. I was really fortunate to have 4 players that played for me at the junior college level that kind of all dispersed and went their separate ways, and then once I got the job, I reached out to everybody that was still playing and had eligibility left, and said, I hope that you're happy where you're at, and I hope it's going well. But if for some reason it's not, I've taken this job, and if any of you are interested, I'd love to talk to you more. So ended up with 4 of those girls that have played for me before, and we were fortunate enough to have success in 2021 and playing a national tournament. So my hope is those girls coming in here can kind of help us get jump started right away with understanding how things need to be done in order to be successful. And then added some other transfers and some different players and whatnot, just trying to basically add depth and give us as many options as possible at all positions. And so, I feel really strongly about what we've put together and what we have. We've been bitten a little bit with the injury bug, sure, but that's why you build depth, and that's why you try to get as many quality good pieces as you can. And so, luckily we did that. I feel like, and so really just trying to get them all now at this point to gel and mesh together and be locked in and focused on the main goal.
Definitely. All right. One final thing about preseason, just how's it going? You guys had a few weeks. Obviously, it started a little bit later just because of NAIA restrictions, mm-hmm, and when you could actually start working with the players. But how have the last about month gone?
Yeah, it's gone well. Like I said, we've been bitten a little bit by the injury bug, and got some illness right now that's keeping some people out of practice. But the girls are working hard. They seem really bought into what we're trying to do. They seemed a little overwhelmed, but that's to be expected. And what Coach Bedford and I have to keep talking about is this is the first time that everything will be new for everybody. Right. Hopefully moving forward next year, years after that, repeating a lot of things to people that have already done this. And so, this hopefully will be the year in which we kind of have to move at a slower pace and have our expectations at a certain spot. But, like I said, there's a lot of really good pieces, and I feel like they're bought in and they're working really hard on what we're doing. We faced some really good opponents in the preseason scrimmages and whatnot, and seen some really good things from our group. So just trying to pack that all together and get ourselves as ready as possible for this weekend.
Definitely. All right. Well, before we get into the schedule, let's talk about the roster. So, however you want to break it down by position, probably makes the most sense. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So the point guard position. Alexis True is returning, but she's coming off of an injury that missed most of last year. She's still working her way back from that. Actually just started this week, back full contact with practice. And already can tell that she's a smart basketball IQ player and knows how to get her teammates involved and handle the ball. And so that's great because, we're thin at that spot. We've also brought in Elia Myers, who played for me at Kansas City, Kansas Community College, was a first-team All-American for me at the point guard position. So, once we get fully healthy and can kind of get ourselves settled in at that spot, I feel really good with the pieces that we have at that. At the wing positions, we've got a good amount of returners. Allie Stewart, obviously, is an honorable mention All-Conference kid returning for us. Really good shooter who we're trying to get to do other things and not just rely on shooting the three. And she's done a great job of working hard and trying to lock in and focus on those things. Aisha Fagans, who is a big time player from last year, played a lot of minutes, had a big role. Kind of had to step into the point guard spot a little bit once True got hurt, but we're trying to put her back at her normal position where she's comfortable playing the wing and somebody who's capable of making shots. Jocelyn Herbeck as well, great shot maker, really high at basketball IQ. She's battling some injuries right now, but done a great job for us as well. Carissa Musgraves, who was an Iowa kid who played for junior varsity last year. I really liked her the second I was able to get in the gym with them last spring. Her effort, her intensity, how hard she plays, and she's done a great job for us. Just trying to get her to play with that confidence now that she's playing on the varsity level and whatnot, but she's been great. And then we've added in some transfers. Faith Putz, who played for me and was an all-conference kid at Kansas City, Kansas Community College, transferred to a Division II last year and has now come back and playing for me, so we're excited about her. And then we've added in others. Cherie Smith is a transfer who's been out of the game for a couple years, but somebody that played junior college that we're really excited about as well. Just her experience and being able to come in and help us. Shelby Clark, unfortunately, was a transfer that we recruited and got injured, and she'll miss this entire season. But just her being around and being here every day is going to be really helpful for her and helpful for our future. And so, we wish she was out on the court, but unfortunately, she's going to have to be a student coach this year and really take in a lot and learn and understand so that when she does get healthy and gets back, she can utilize this experience, even though she's not on the court every day. That hurts, but at the same time, I think in the long run, it's hard to look this way, but I think it'll be good for her moving forward. So I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anybody.
I know,
but
that's always a problem.
Honestly, the wing position, we are really, really deep. We got a lot of options, a lot of pieces. Kayla Carmen is another one. She's a transfer as well. She actually played in the league that I coached in Kansas as a freshman and sophomore before transferring to a school that shut down last year. She was a starter for that program, so she's someone that comes in and brings us high energy, phenomenal defender. And so, we're looking for that experience. She played on a really good program that I respect a lot at the junior college level, so I'm excited about what she brings to us as well. Sure. Her sister, Kanae Carmen, is going to redshirt and sit out this year, but she's someone who's really strong, athletic, and again, played at the same junior college as well. So, she's somebody that we're going to kind of put on the shelf this year and let her learn and figure things out. And I think she's someone who next year and the year beyond will be able to really impact what we're trying to do and whatnot. So at the forward position, we've got a mix kind of Taylor Longhorn, who's a returner. Didn't have a big role last year, but somebody who I'm expecting a lot out of. She's somebody who's long and athletic, can play a lot of positions, do a lot of things. So, hopefully we can get her moving around different parts, different pieces, and be able to exploit, her positives and what she can do to help us all over the court. So Alyssa Hames is somebody we bring back. Again, a limited role last year, but someone I love her heart. I love her energy. I love her, how hard she plays and competes all times. She's one of the best offensive rebounders I've ever seen. So really just trying to implement her and get her to a spot where she feels comfortable and understanding what we need as a team from her. So, and then we've also brought in a transfer, Nikisha King, who's from the Seattle, Washington area, played for South Puget Sound Community College. Been fantastic for us. She's someone who can step out and make shots, but she'll also, throw her body around and get rebounds and whatnot. She does a little bit, kind of a Swiss Army knife, does a little bit of everything for us. So gives us great depth at that position for sure. And then at the center position, we brought in Mercer Roberts, who played for me at the junior college level as well, and then played at Division II last year in South Carolina. And so having her here, understanding what I'm looking for specifically at our forward position, and she's done a great job so far for us, really getting the others to kind of understand what we need from that spot, running the floor, defensive responsibilities, and everything else. And she's also got the capability to step out and knock down shots on the perimeter, so that helps out a ton. Amaria Turner is an Iowa kid who we're really excited about. She's just a sophomore, played for the junior varsity last year, but she's long, athletic, can really run, and she's young. She's got kind of deer in headlights type of look to her right now, but I'm really excited about her future, and she's somebody that I feel like once we continue to grow and get going with things, and she feels more and more comfortable, she'll really be able to bring a lot. And then Erica Martin is a post player who adds great size and strength for us, trying to get her to understand what we need exactly out of her. But she's somebody who's a big, strong body around the basket that if we can, if we need that as far as defensive purposes to keep somebody from burying us and getting shots around the basket. She's a tremendous rebounder as well. She's got great hands, great touch around the basket. We need to get her to be able to play extended minutes for a long period of time potentially. And once that happens, I think that'll be a great asset for us as well. Sure. Also added another transfer, Carly West, who's somebody that I saw play point guard in the national tournament, junior college. She can play the 4 and the 5. She's got a great IQ, big, strong body. Unfortunately, she also suffered a season-ending injury as well. So she's kind of on the back burner, again, student assistant role, but just picking up things and everything, from the sideline and things like that. So, somebody that we're excited about for the future for sure, but we'll miss her this year for definitely.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But I think that about wraps it up.
Right.
I think.
You hope so, right?
Yeah.
You'll find out later if you forgot somebody.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about the schedule. Again, it's pretty short non-conference schedule before you get into a really deep hard slate. So starting this weekend, let's just break down the handful of games that you've got in non-conference.
Yeah. Open up this weekend at Harris-Stowe State University in St. Louis. Honestly, don't know a lot about them right now. Haven't seen a roster yet, but what I do know a lot is their head coach. She's been at the Division I level for many, many years as an assistant coach. I'm sure has amazing connections as far as, recruiting resources and things like that. So I imagine they're probably going to have a pretty talented roster. And so, we're going to have to go in there ready to compete, ready to battle, get after it. I saw on their schedule yesterday it's homecoming. They don't have a football team, so they've got homecoming. So I don't know how excited we want to be about that, being somebody's homecoming game. But, I look at it as, most teams schedule homecoming around somebody that they hopefully can be successful against. And so, we have to take that as a challenge, and we got to be ready. So open up there Saturday, return home back next Wednesday on the 1st against Viterbo University. An old conference foe of mine. Yeah, exactly. So, but they're definitely a different look team from when I remember them as a player and an assistant on the men's side. So we're definitely going to have to be ready. They're going to be smart. They're going to be well coached and together. Coach B and I are going to go try and watch them. They open up Friday at Graceland here in the conference, so we're going to go try and get an eye on them early. But definitely somebody that we're going to have to be ready to play. And then just 2 days later, we go on the road and play another former conference foe in Waldorf, who has a newer coach. He's entering his second year, and he's really good as well. Has a tremendous resume, and I know they're going to be ready to play. I know that's going to be a team that's locked in and focused and well coached. And two, it's kind of odd. We play at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Friday.
Yeah.
They're hosting volleyball tournament or playoffs, I believe it is, on Friday evening. So the only way we could get the game in was to play in the afternoon. So we're gonna have to travel early and be ready to play at a little earlier time. So we'll have to be ready for that. And then our final non-conference is on the road against Columbia College, who was a phenomenal program. They went 27-5 last year. They've got a lot of returners back. They're receiving votes in the top 25, which I'll be honest with you, if I'm them today when this is released, they're probably a little slighted. They probably feel a little disrespected as far as the rankings and whatnot. And I know that if I was them, I would. And I tend to agree with them. But the bottom line is that's a really, really formidable opponent, and we're going to have to go down there and hopefully be playing good basketball at that time.
Sure. All right, and let's slide it right into the conference. There's a handful of teams that are ranked or receiving votes. So I mean, it's going to be a tough part. You've watched it from the outside. Now you're in it. So who do you see as being the top teams? Who do you see as maybe dark horses? Where do you see William Penn falling in there?
Yeah, I mean, I have tremendous respect from top to bottom, left to right, however you want to word it. I think the conference is easily the most competitive conference in the country. Obviously, with Clark being returning defending national champion, you have Central Methodist who went 35-1 and didn't have their first loss until the Final Four last year, who quite honestly probably feels like maybe they fell a little short of their goal. I'm sure that they feel like that. It's hard to have a Final Four finish and feel unfulfilled, but I can imagine that's probably a little bit of their mindset heading into this year, and they've got some really, really good returners from that group. But the same with Clark. They've got a lot of experience back as well, and although they lost their head coach, Coach Hocking stepped in and as the assistant and a lot of experience. They played at Iowa this past week, so
right.
Obviously they're putting themselves in position to play against good opponents and be able to play their best basketball when it matters. And then you've got teams like Mid-American Nazarene and Coach Lewis does a phenomenal job every year with that program. There's somebody that has to be respected and being from that area and whatnot. And I'm worked with him a lot through him recruiting some of my players and stuff like that. I know they do a phenomenal job, and every single year they're going to have talent. They're going to be well coached. And then you've got teams like Benedictine, Grandview, Missouri Valley, Culver Stockton, who are all right there, and I'm sure expecting the same thing. Mount Mercy you can throw in there as well. So we've got a long road ahead. We've got to stay locked in and focused on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. But honestly, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to be focused. Our first conference match is on the road on a Saturday on November 11th at Clark.
Yeah.
So we'll find out between going to Columbia on a Wednesday and to Clark on a Saturday. We'll find out if we're making strides and we're headed in the right direction, or we'll find out if we need to really regroup and turn it up a notch and get locked in on what we're trying to do.
Sure.
It is a long season, 24 conference games, and you're going from November 11th to February 25th. And honestly, as a head coach, that's something I've not experienced. As an assistant, I've not experienced that. So that'll be a learning curve for me. But we're just going to do our best to try and control the things that we can control. And hopefully, the ball bounces our way some. And if we can get healthier, we can get some of these girls back that have been out for a little bit right now, and if we can continue to build and just grow in that aspect and continue to grow on the court and build and learn from experiences, whether it's winning or losing, if we can experience those and figure out what we need to do better and continue to grow and build, that's what we'll be doing. And hopefully by the end of January and February we're playing our best basketball. That's our biggest goal.
Yep, for sure. All right, Coach. You put a bow on it. I didn't even have to ask you that question, so thank you. He's a seasoned pro over here. So, all right, once again, head coach Joe McKinstry of the women's basketball team. Season begins this weekend, a long season, but we're looking forward to everything, all the games, home games. Not a lot of them early, but
No.
we'll have a lot of them after the new year for sure. So, a chance to check out the Statesmen. So, check them out on statesmanathletics.com, all of our social media channels. Download the app as well, all that fun stuff. So, best luck, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.